All right, we're here at the Zacuto booth checking out some new camera gear with Steve and Jens. Now, there's a lot of new cameras that have come out since we saw you guys last. You guys are always coming up with new ways to rig them up to make them proper for people to use them. And you also have some new, your Gratical EVF. That I'm excited about because that's pretty much bringing high quality EVFs into all the new price brackets. So why don't you take us through some of the new products we have here?
Well, I mean, you brought up a good point. There are all these new cameras, and it doesn't matter to us because we have a single solution. We do not have multiple solutions anymore. Doesn't matter what camera you own, it'll go from the tiniest little DSLR all the way up to an Alexa will go on this rig. We have about 8 components to build a rig, and they work with every camera. Some might use less, some might use 1 or 2 more, but it's the same platform, everything's the same. The principle is this, is that your hand, your shoulder, and your eye never move. So the Gratical sits here, the shoulder plate's here. The only thing that happens to balance the camera is the lens and the camera body move forward and back so that you get that thing perfectly balanced. This rig here,
and that way you can avoid counterbalance, having to add counterbalance and make it 2 miles long. You can keep it short this way.
okay, I believe that is what we call balanced. Okay?
Any other rig here will fall forward, man, because it's all in front of you.
When the thing's balanced, you can shoot all day. So we call these all-day shooters. That's what it is. We come from that side where we would do stuff where documentaries, you need to hold that thing all day long. I see you're shoving that camera back because you're trying to get it balanced. He's got 90% of it behind him. Great, that's what you want to do. All right, let's talk about what we have new here. We have 2 new versions of our VCT. It's the same plate. This one has sort of a pop-out bottom, which allows you to, makes it easier for sliding the camera forward and back. That one actually has a sliding top deck, where you push a button and the deck can slide if you put a lens on there. Super heavy one, slide the camera back. Super light one, slide a little forward.
Plus, if you have a matte box on there and you're switching lens lengths, you
got it.
don't have to
You got it.
move the matte box itself.
Here's the exciting thing right here, the Gratical X. Jens named that, I love the name too. Here's the deal. A lot of people, there's been a lot of buzz about the Gratical. I mean, it is a critical view screen. I'm not gonna tout it, but DPs at the AAC have said that's the closest thing to an optical viewfinder that's been out yet. But it's $3,100, and it's out of a lot of people's price range. So we originally were gonna come out with the Gratical LT, which had a much smaller screen and the resolution was less. And then we decided, you know what, why don't we just come out with a version that's exactly the same as the Gratical HD. 5.5 million pixel display, same optics, everything. It's the same exact unit. And make it so that when you get it out of the box, it's a monitor, a critical view monitor, and it has essentially no features. And you can just buy whatever features you want now or in the future. You know, let's say you like peaking and you like false color. They're 85 bucks a pop. You go on the site, you buy the features, you put it in the back, and you now have those features. 1,650 bucks. It's in the price range of any other EVF. Not in this caliber, but I think that this is a way that people are going to be able to get critical view resolution that they need.
All right, so for people that are still maybe new to the concept between the two of them, what separates the two from the price point? Is it just pure software upgradability at that point?
Yeah, exactly. They're identical. In other words, we don't even change anything. Essentially what happens is
The sticker changes.
the sticker changes, and this one, the features are all grayed out. As you go on the website and you buy features, or there are feature packages, you know, like when you buy a car, it's like I get the comfort package. So there are features and feature packages that you can buy and put in this unit, and then when we have an update, a firmware update, it's the same firmware update for both units, but it knows what you have by the serial number, and it only updates the features you have.
Great. So if you want a good EVF, you know, you like the features of the first Gratical, don't have the price point, but you want to have that someday. You don't have to sell the old one or whatever like that.
No, but I mean,
You can build up to it.
yeah, Jens calls it a custom Gratical for you, which is great. If you're buying 8 or 9 or 10 features, you got to go that way because that thing is much cheaper at that point. And we have a lot of new features that we're currently working on. If you own a Gratical HD, they're free always. With this unit, you have to buy the features. You know, this allows you to get into that super high resolution and buy 1 or 2, 3, 4 features that you need and keep it at a low cost. That's the purpose.
All right, what else do we have looking at here? I remember last year we were taking a look at this initially. Is this a product now that we have?
Well, this is the Sony control grip.
Okay.
Our control grip, we're still working on it. It's pretty technologically intense because we want it to be able to control, like everything we make, we want one product that can control every single camera on the market and be able to work with every lens, and so we're still working on that. We're hoping for an IBC release. This is kind of a new feature that's kind of interesting. We've noticed that, you know, when you're using a Gratical and you're focusing your lens, you know, you got to go turn on peaking, focus, turn off peaking. So we came out with this little device here. It's going to be available August 1st. That's Bluetooth to the Gratical, and it's essentially these 4 programmable buttons. So whatever you put in those buttons, let's say I put peaking on, now I got it in this hand. I can go peaking on, peaking off, peaking on, peaking off.
The point is you never have to let go. It's all at your fingertips.
It's really an advantage. Everyone who makes an EVF makes you touch the EVF. Well, that doesn't do you any good. I got to the moment I take my hand off the lens, the whole camera's going to do that. This is, you know, I'm doing it all with this hand right here. It's really cool. It's going to be about $140, and it's Bluetooth, works with the Gratical.
Now, question: does the Gratical pass through peaking and false color, any of that stuff, to a separate monitor?
So, to answer your question, not really. But it does. I don't know that you'd ever want that. So, like, here you're a producer in the tent. What do you want to see? I want to see that beautiful image that I'm going to imagine I'm getting when my movie's done. So here's what the Gratical can do. It can create a LUT, import a LUT, or export a LUT, or modify a LUT. So let's say you bring a LUT in here. There's 16 slots that you can stick LUTs in, and they live in there. So, like, you know, I mean, obviously you're probably never going to fill up 16 slots. So you put your LUT in there. Let's say you want to tweak it a little bit. You can do that. You can save it to another slot point. Now, here's how it works. You go into there and it says EVF. You select one of the LUTs. It says SDI out. You select one of the LUTs. So they can be 2 totally independent things. Jens likes a Hikon sort of LUT for focusing for himself internally. Go into the tent, you can have that beautiful creamy LUT that the client's just going to go, oh my God, it looks so wonderful. So it's separated in that way.
Oftentimes the operator will need to look at something different for his conditions and focus.
Well, and for me too, like sometimes I'm DPing next to the camera and sometimes I'm DPing by Video Village, and I like the ability to turn off LUTs, turn them on back, kind of get that feel back and forth. What's the camera recording? What am I possibly going to be grading this to?
As you're talking to your operator, you're obviously going to have some kind of communication with him. You can say LUT on, LUT off. He can program one of these buttons where every time he clicks it, it's LUT on, LUT off.
He can have that remote.
Or you can do it with the, oh yeah, you could have this remote. That's an even better idea. So you could be in there turning on the LUT on and off, so you could see log, LUT. We like doing that, actually. So now, originally this had 4 programmable buttons. But in our first firmware update, we actually made it to where it has 8 programmable buttons by using the joystick this way, and in order to enter the menu, you push the set button in. So now, you know, you can have your 4 fun features here, but if you go this way, you can have LUT on, LUT off for here, LUT on, LUT off for the tent. You know, you need 8 buttons, kind of. But in your hand, you only get 4.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what's happening with the Gratical.
Nice. Yeah, that's it. Like I said, you know, being able to have all those options, being able to standby video village and actually be able to control something like that.
Yeah.
I think I haven't seen any other system that lets you do that. Usually you have to run back to the camera or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So
no,
really
and
handy.
before you leave, I want you to check out our peaking feature. Actually, I'd love to see if you could get it in the camera. This new peaking feature that we worked on for quite some time now, almost a month, is so unbelievable. It's like when people look in the Gratical and they're like, wow. I want you, actually here, you need to look in here on camera and I want to hear how it feels for you. Let me see that we're on.
Oh,
Pretty sharp. But yeah, you still don't see pixels.
yeah. But yeah, what I'm liking is like everything is, you know, some EVF or some of the peaking filters, they have just lines, or you know, the detail is not visible in everything. And
Well, we have line peaking too. This is a different kind
it's
of
kind of like
peaking.
a sharpening filter almost.
It's a combination of sharpening and peaking resolution. It's a whole formula that Jens and our software team has worked on. But we have red line peaking. We actually have multicolor line peaking. So like if you're shooting something where there is a lot of red in it, you can set it to purple or gray or blue or whatever you want. And it's line peaking. Some people love that. As a matter of fact, a lot of young people love that because it's a new feature. The older folks are more accustomed to this style of peaking.
Right, because I mean, with line peaking, you're going to end up with potential for, you know, any sharp edge. So bokeh can
Yeah.
trigger anything like
Just
that.
a high contrast thing
Right.
changes it too. So yeah.
But with the line peaking, if you're going to use it, this is where the button's great because it's like I want to go focus off, you know, because you don't want to shoot with that on. So you're like focus. I want to see it check off, you know, on off. That's the whole purpose of this is these peaking things and a lot of these false color features. You need to on off them.
Or pop up the scopes for a quick check.
Yeah. Oh, we have a new way now where it'll, since the video image is up top, you can click this button and it'll bring the image center and remove the scopes for shooting if you want, and then with a click of a button you can push the image back up and have that. So the feature set is really strong in here, and we still have a list of 12 or 13 items, and we are taking any input from any user on features, and if we feel that they are not self-serving to that one individual, we'll implement it.
Some of the new features that are about to be released are going to be a record light that's going to show up in here that's triggered by the camera, and also time code too. People have been asking for that a lot.
So how does that get the signals? Is it directly through the SDI line?
Yes, exactly.
Through the cable. Our goal is to make a unit that you never have overlay on the image, because we have had DPs of caliber all the way up into the ASC that, you know, when you have all this junk all around there, you can't really see if a little light stand or a mic pokes in, or if your
Fingers on the mat
fingers
box.
on mat boxes. For the older folks, they do that. We've had all these problems crop in, and it's great. I mean, who doesn't want to look at a beautiful image that's exactly what you're going to see in real life? Overlay sucks. I hate it.
Yeah. And even some novice shooters all the way to the pros, you know, your composition gets screwed up too because you're
They end up framing within
Right.
the overlay. Yeah.
Exactly. That does happen a lot.
yeah.
That's our story, man.
This is awesome. And one thing I want to go back to on this plate, you've got these numbers here. I'm assuming like if you got your FS7 and maybe you're going to an A7S, something else where you've got a different camera, you can basically say, okay, at 85 is where I'm going to put the sensor on this one, but for balancing it better, the A7S is better at 60 or whatever it may be.
The interesting thing about that is you bring up a good point. Is in our videos for every camera on our website now, we tell you if you're using the 24 to 70 with the FS7, you're going to be at 65. We give you all those numbers, and that's exactly why we put those numbers on there.
Do you have like some sort of a chart or app that you're going to have that would have all that information in it?
But see, that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. Where that's going in my list as soon as you walk away.
There are some variables though. If they're adding other accessories, then that throws those numbers off. So
It's
we
a
can't
starting
account for that, but
place.
it's a starting point. Yeah.
And if you don't have a numbered plate, we've actually made it so that the numbers start from this bump right here. So if you own a plate that doesn't have the numbers, obviously you could ship it to us and we'd be happy to give you one with numbers. Or you could use a ruler and it's the same. These are millimeter dimensions. Or you could just take a China marker and mark it off, knowing what you're going to do.
Awesome, great design, Steve. Great seeing you both again.
Thanks for coming.
Awesome. Thanks to our sponsors for making our Cine Gear coverage possible.